Earnings season is underway, and this week we have a few big tech stocks coming up like Tesla. So I thought that this Sunday evening I would zone in on the NQ futures. Now, I'm HEMA ready and I use price action, candlesticks like this, market timing, and that's forecasting, or what I call loss forecasting, and momentum, my favorite indicator, the RSI power zones, to boost my trading and that of our trading tribes. So what I'm going to do here is with a blank chart, I'm going to do analysis on the NQ futures as if I was about to trade it, all right? I actually trade the E-mini S&P 500 futures, but the tactics I'm showing you here apply to futures, stocks, Forex, anything in between. So when you are analyzing a market that you're going to trade, if you're intraday trader, you want to kind of end on your time frame. So for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to go from a weekly, from like a mountaintop view, then to a daily, then to a 120-minute chart, and then to a 15-minute chart, okay? I'm just simulating what somebody might be trading on this. Now, the NQ moves much faster than the ES, so that works well as a set of timeframes. On the weekly chart, the most important resistance is coming in from the week ending July 12th, low, midpoint, and high. And the most important support is coming in from the week ending August 9th. Now, on top of that, there is a secondary set of support here coming in on this large red candle. And now I'm going to move to the daily chart on this same chart. So I'm going to simply change the time frame, go to daily, and those annotations will stay in place. Now I'll add in additional daily analysis. Now here on the daily chart, I've calculated a forecast. So what is a forecast? It's simply a meeting of price and time. It's an expectation, not a guarantee, for price to trade into a certain price by a certain time. That's the key here. So you can see the price at 21068.25, that purple line, and you can see the time, if I show the label, as October 29th. So there is a forecast in place that could have been calculated as early as October 18th for the NQ futures to trade up into this intersection. Now, very important, this forecast is only valid while we are above this low at 19,818. And I teach all of this in my loss forecasting trading system, which we have available on a special this week. We're also going to have a special live forecasting session review associated with it this month, so you're going to want to check that out. Okay, now here's the deal about forecasts, whether you already use loss forecasting or not. There's no guarantee that that forecast is going to hit its target. And you might think, well then HEMA, why bother, right? Why bother forecasting? Because we can still get value from the forecast even if it misses. Now, we won't know if it misses until we get closer to that time or price. But I have a whole missed flow chart for how to navigate such situations that's in the loss forecasting system. So coming back to the current price action and what you can use to help your trades in the next couple of days here, let's hone in on a couple of nearby support and resistance levels. So there's that low from that level that's defining the forecast. Well, that entire range is going to be important. Now notice we're already dancing around the high of it, but the midpoint of it and the low right here are both going to be useful supports. And on the daily chart for the resistance, I want to come in and annotate the most extreme price high we've had. And I like to use one color for resistance, one color for support. That way I don't ever confuse them on my chart. So now we have resistance, and you can see it's very interesting. The middle of the weekly range and the middle of the daily range are really close together. So when you see resistance levels from price calculated from different time frames kind of get really close together like that, it shows you it's probably a more important short-term resistance along the way. Okay, again, I want to just keep a super focus on the near term. So looking from right to left of where we are, we have a forecast in place based on the recent price action. I've identified the October 1st range as an important support and the October, or rather the July 11th, and the July 11th high is important resistance. Now, as promised, I'm going to take this down to another time frame, 120-minute chart. So I'm going to just change this to minutes, 120-minute interval. All right, so here we are on the 120-minute time frame. Same information, same levels from the daily and weekly, same forecast waiting out there. As for the nearby support and resistance levels, There's a high here that has capped the recent recovery. So this is at the 12 p.m. hour on October 14th. And there's this entire low range. Notice that right now I'm simply taking key ranges and identifying them as support and resistance. There are other methods. You can use candlesticks, you can use patterns and more, but I'm just getting the most important levels first. And again, you're seeing these little areas of confluence, these clusters come together. Now I did say go down to a 15-minute chart, so let's change that. So on a 15-minute chart, this is what it looks like when you first do the change of time frame. The forecast is out there, but it's much further out on the chart. And now we have more detail and nuance for the most recent action. Given what's going on here on Sunday, October 20th, it looks like bulls are still in charge and potentially want to resume higher. So I'm going to hone into that most recent action and identify any key levels to monitor. Well, check it out. On the 15-minute chart, they're currently really respecting this resistance around 20,525. There is a level close to it that's an actual traded level 2528.75. So that would be the one to watch for short-term resistance. Then we have this recent peak here. Okay, so I moved the resistance levels out of the way. So now you can see the actual traded levels, 2594.75. The next one would be here at 2659.25. And then we have 2680. So now you have 4 key resistance areas, and you can see that there are other resistance levels from the higher time frames adding to those. All right, that's great for resistance. What about support, right? Because we don't know which way the market's going to go, even though we have a forecast suggesting a big picture move up and to the right. Again, can't trade that blindly. You have to monitor the action day to day. So for support, 2442 is the most recent intraday low shaping the uptrend. Then we have 2418.5. Then we have 2320.75. If we want to keep analyzing from there to be ready for what may happen, 2276.75 and 2206.25. So if I were a NQ futures trader and getting ready to trade the 15-minute chart time frame on Monday, October 21st, these are the bare minimum levels I would have to watch for potential support and resistance. Again, if you're trading a lower time frame, you can take this another step lower. If you're trading a higher time frame, then you'd focus on those levels and not the 15-minute chart. But I hope you can see how price action alone can give you that map, that grid of where price may be headed or be backing up from. You have the RSI power zones to guide you. And remember, it's not just about moving between the green and red zones. You want to look for how the RSI is behaving related to itself and any patterns. Right now, it's holding the bull support power zone, so it has some promise to resume higher. However, we have nearby short-term resistance. And we've got that forecast, right? That was out on October 29th. You have the price that was stated there at the beginning of the video, but let's also move out on this 15-minute chart to see if we can see it. There it is, 21068.25. It is a magnet pulling price up and to the right. It is not guaranteed, but it is definitely something useful to monitor. All right, if you found that helpful, go ahead and give this video a like, please. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below if you'd like to see more analysis like this or follow-ups to this NQ chart. I'll be back with more for earnings, starting with Tesla. So it reports on Wednesday, October 23rd. So I'll share my insights by a day or two before that, and we'll see how the markets unfold. Again, using price, time, and momentum. If you want to learn more about forecasting, be sure to keep an eye on your email, and I'll catch you soon.